I think so. Yes. What he has done this year has been really, really good. He's actually been a breath of fresh air for Man City. Fills the role really, really well. Is very versatile. Plays sometimes central mid as well. And is very comfortable in that position, very comfortable on the ball, looks always forward, and he's got a bad habit of scoring important goals.
Yes.
You know, so that is something that will, if you keep that, that will always give you a lot more than somebody else in your position.
Yeah.
You know, so he pops up in the right moments in the box, and he's very calm at finishing those off. So lots of quality, lots of ability. He's grown up this year, and Pepper trusts him. So it works really well at the moment for him.
Pep trusts him. What about Thomas Tuchel? I mean, right now, Carve, do you think he's winning the race to be England's left-back at the World Cup?
I think he's favourite to start England's first game in that role. It's actually quite interesting because for a long time, England used to have really established left-backs. You know, when I was growing up, you'd think of Kenny Sansom or Stuart Pearce or Ashley Cole. But over the past few years, no one's really nailed down that place. I think in the World Cup in 2018, Ashley Young, a right-back, was playing at left-back. At the Euros a couple of years ago, when Jimmy was involved with the England squad, it was Luke Shaw. Now, Luke Shaw is a fantastic player, but he's had quite a lot of injury problems. So I think it's definitely his position for the taking. He's had a breakout season, and I can see it ending with him starring for England at the World Cup.
I would only say, yes, I do think it's his position in England, but I do have to say we have to watch out, because he does play totally different with Man City. And he comes in the midfield, he can go forward as much as he wants, because Man City has got 90% of the ball and they are dominant, and they have to do something different, something more creative and stuff, and moving players around. England is not going to be that. You know, he is going to be more a old-fashioned, and coming from me, that is really painful. But he's going to be more like a traditional kind of left back. And you're just saying, Luke Shaw, you normally take two left backs with you. If he stays fit, I would love to see Luke Shaw going with somebody like him, because he has the experience, and he's not going to be able to play every matches. So in the World Cup. So we do have to watch out, but he does deserve that spot because he's doing absolutely magnificent at the moment.
OK, thanks, Hannah. Let's get back to Dave.
Yeah, O'Reilly has had a real breakthrough year, and in a move that's designed to help the development of young players, FIFA are now considering a new rule that would force all clubs to have at least one homegrown under-21 player on the pitch at all times. The proposal is set to be submitted to the FIFA Council in the next year. So let's show you the impact that might have using this season's Premier League. Now, just to clarify, for this we are categorising homegrown as English players who are 21 or under. O'Reilly, as we've been talking about, leads the way for minutes played ahead of Newcastle's Lewis Hall. Eddie Howe's side actually have two players here in the top 8, with Lewis Miley also making the list. And if we look at the number of Premier League games each team has started an English player who is 21 or under, it's Manchester City who lead the way on 30. Newcastle are just behind them. Further down the list, though, significantly, Arsenal and Liverpool have only done it on 2 occasions in the Premier League, while Brentford, Leeds, Villa and Burnley haven't started an English player who is 21 or under at all this season. So plenty to ponder then for those Premier League sides. If this rule was brought in, a possible byproduct could be an increase in transfer fees of English players who are fitting that category of 21 or under. Clubs striving to find quality at that age group. We've picked out a few of them here. Jadon Sancho's moved to Manchester United from Borussia Dortmund at the age of 21, topping this list. Could we see those fees balloon if young players become a rare commodity? It's going to go out to consultation now, isn't it, Carve? I'm going to come to you first. You're across all the transfers, but do you think that it could well be a thing there that player prices could rise in this situation?
I think definitely that could be one of the byproducts of this rule if it is introduced. I think it's quite interesting, the timing of it. You know, on paper, it's a good idea. Why not have more young players playing? But I think there's going to be issues with it, because if you're a manager, it just adds another complication to your life, because you have to make sure you always have to have an under-21 homegrown player on the pitch every minute of every single game during a season. And also, as Dave pointed out, what effect will it have on the transfer prices of these young players? You're going to have to overpay because they'll be in demand, because every club will need them. Just being a little bit cynical, I'm thinking, why is this news now coming out? There's a big FIFA Congress tomorrow in Vancouver. The media tomorrow will be talking about World Cup ticket prices, the outrageous prices, President Trump getting a FIFA Peace Prize. Are FIFA just, throwing out some good news stories before this Congress? Because we've had this story about under-21 players. We've had a story about the countries who are playing in the World Cup getting more prize money. We've had a good news story about the Afghanistan national women's team as well. So I wonder if there's a little bit of media management going on as well.
Cynic, you, Carve. I mean, Jimmy. I mean, the idea, making sure there's young players on the pitch, you get it totally. But with your manager's hat on, could it cause issues?
Yeah, magnificent, massive. Because how many young players? How many of homegrown young players do you have in your 23 squad? What will happen if they're all injured at the same time? How are you going to fill that team? I think it's going to be very difficult to get that through. I do understand that more English players have to play, and that's where you maybe have to change. That you have to have X amount of English players in your team or in your starting lineup or whatsoever. That is better for every country or every competition. Like, for instance, Italy now is struggling with their teams. So I think you have to look at like that. But if you're going to say under 21, it's going to be hard. It's going to be very difficult, and the top clubs are going to really benefit out of it than the smaller clubs.
When you've got a player like Nico O'Reilly, it's a prime example, isn't it?
Yeah.
Just finishing up on this then, Carve, how likely are FIFA to get their way on this, do you think?
Well, I think it's out for consultation. So the confederations are going to talk about it, the national associations are going to talk about it, all the different stakeholders in the game are going to talk about it. I would be surprised if it was introduced, for instance, in the Premier League, because as Jimmy says, it will be very, very controversial and it will be very, very complicated. And you could have the potential situation where players are getting picked to play in teams not on merit. And what will that do to the dressing room? Because their teammates will be looking at it and thinking, he's only playing because he's homegrown and under 21.